of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. All praise is due to Allah, and peace and blessings be upon the Messenger of Allah. Welcome to Islam Simply. This program, with its unusual name, has a story behind it. I was invited to make a series of episodes, or it could be on the internet. We did not specify at that time about Islam and the definition of Islam for non-Muslims from the West. The arrangement was that it would be in English. I actually attended this program, but it was not recorded. God willing, it will be recorded later. But when I attended it, I felt that it did not mean the meanings that I am trying to convey. I wish I had learned them about Islam when I was young and learned them about Islam even when I was older, because the way Islam is being presented from the bottom up. I mean, what are the rulings of Islam? What is permissible and what is forbidden? But what is the comprehensive image of Islam that we built upon? This became permissible and this became forbidden. I mean, when, for example, one of the scholars comes, when they were studying jurisprudence, for example, and says to us that tattoos are forbidden. Okay, tattoos are forbidden. Why is it forbidden? He doesn't answer us. Why is it forbidden? So this is the issue. It has a goal, and all the rulings of Islam, memorize them well. All the rulings have goals behind them. And more than that, there are general comprehensive goals that Islam wants, not only from Muslims, but also from non-Muslims. The important thing is that I decided to try to present Islam with another perspective, and that it is not Islam from the bottom up with its rulings. And then we will try to arrive at what Islam is, and that we will not try to look at a comprehensive perspective of what Islam is simply. Accordingly, why these rulings and why these details and many other things we will understand when we understand Islam simply and understand where they fit in Islam. Look, since we also study the science of management and planning, we always say to those responsible in any company, ministry, etc., that those who work with you must know the plan. He knows where we were, where we have reached, where we are going, what our role is, and where we stand today in this equation. Many Muslims today do not know what Islam is in its entirety. He knows scattered rulings, but does not understand the comprehensive picture of them. Even the Holy Quran, of course, we read it for worship. But the Quran has objectives. The goals are vast and significant, but when many people read the Holy Quran, we come across verses related to beliefs, and then suddenly we switch to the stories of the prophets, then suddenly we move to a legal ruling, and then we jump back to the life of the prophet, or the unseen world, or the jinn. Is there something that connects this? Is there a link? Of course there is a link, and we will not be able to know it unless we know Islam simply. Even the messenger, may God bless him and his family and grant them peace. I mean, certainly we follow his example and try to follow his guidance, but who is the messenger? May God bless him and grant him peace. And why do we find that sometimes in the biography of the prophet, may God bless him and grant him peace? This is present. We will go to him and return to him the messenger. May God bless him and grant him peace. Gives instructions, and some of the companions say, no, O messenger of God, I do not want to do this. Yes, this is present. This is not an objection to the revelation. This is not blasphemy. Rather, we must understand who the messenger, may God bless him and grant him peace, is. What is his equation in Islam? Simply put, if the truth is three main equations, this program is trying to cover them. It is trying to build them, meaning, and under this building we understand what Islam is. Simply put, let me tell you what I will tell you in this program. In part of this program, and a major part of this program, we will talk about the objectives of Islam. Many people talk about the objectives of Sharia, but are the objectives of Sharia the same as the objectives of Islam? Of course not. Of course, the objectives of Sharia are not the objectives of Islam. So when I ask some scholars, unfortunately I say, what are the objectives of Islam? and they discuss the objectives of Sharia. This is a great mix-up between Sharia and Islam. We cannot understand that the objectives of Sharia are the goals of Sharia. This is true. But what are the objectives of Sharia? What are the objectives of Islam itself? What are the objectives of Islam? Why was this final book and eternal message sent to us? What are the goals that Allah the Almighty wants from Muslims and non-Muslims through this book and this eternal message? And of course, based on that, we will also find that what we will talk about is that Islam is simply not a religion. This is one of the common mistakes in people's understanding of religion. Of course, it is a religion in the terminology of the Arabic language, but it is not a religion in the Western understanding of religion. That means it is absolutely not permissible to compare Islam and Christianity, because Christianity is just a religion, while Islam is both a religion and a way of life for Muslims and non-Muslims, for society and for the state. It is a comprehensive system. It is not just a religion in terms of rituals and acts of worship. We cannot compare Islam to Buddhism, for example. There is a significant confusion in this matter, and we cannot understand this issue unless we understand Islam simply. The first major aspect I will discuss is a large and primary one. What are the objectives of Islam? What are the objectives of Sharia? This is the first major part that we will talk about. The second major part that falls under understanding Islam simply is that we need to understand the Quran, and we won't be able to understand Islam without it.